Oh, yeah, a little bossa nova action going on here.
Oh, my goodness.
It's been a while, huh?
Yeah, it has.
That was the longest bathroom break I've ever had. This IBS is never clearing up.
Wow.
You know? It's
Yeah.
Hang on, I gotta fill my headphones here. Do you have enough volume in yours?
Yes,
Okay.
mine is fine. Whoa. Now
Well.
it's weird.
Oh, did I touch? Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. This is DJ Summit here at Griffin Radio.
Good morning. This is DJ Supremus.
Heck yeah. Oh, my dream team is back.
The dream team.
The views, comments, and opinions expressed on the show are those of the individuals and not necessarily shared by Griffin Radio, the Media Communications Department, Grossmont College, or the Grossmont Cuyamaca Community College District. This podcast is copywritten by Griffin Radio and Grossmont College 2018. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, it is so good to be back in this chair.
Isn't it?
You know, it's probably the first summer break I've ever had that I was just sitting there going, my God, hurry up!
I want to get back.
I wanted to get back in here, and I got back in here, and the smell of the studio, you know, even with the bathroom being, 40 feet away.
Surprisingly not a bad smell in here.
Well, not yet.
Well,
Nobody's had a chance to really defile the tile in there yet, so nobody's had a chance to
defile the tile. Oh. Huh.
Well, that's let's see, I don't need that anymore.
We're just barely back, and you're already killing me with these jokes.
Oh, you're a light touch. You're easy.
Yeah,
I like this.
I am.
All right. Touch those buttons over there, make this thing here. So, we don't have a whole lot of time, but I figured we could just do a nice little news roundtable, because honestly, I have been dying to get back to these. There has been so much weird, stupid things that have gone on recently.
Yeah,
So,
I've got like a half hour. We're good.
Oh, we won't even take that long.
Yeah.
We'll keep this short and sweet, make sure everybody gets back into it easy. Everybody stretch, make sure you don't cramp up. We don't want to hurt anybody here. This is supposed to be fun. Not for the people in the stories, but for us.
Yes.
So, we'll just go right into it here then.
Oh, God.
In the grand pantheon of cafeteria misdeeds, few are more dastardly than the crime of stealing lunch money. And popular culture often ends up with no suspects, but vindictive older siblings and schoolyard bullies feature prominently. But in New Canaan, Connecticut, the whodunit has taken a new twist. Police say two unusual culprits are to blame after two public schools mysteriously lost nearly $500,000 of lunch money in a 5-year span to the cafeteria workers.
Oh, my goodness.
Sisters! Joanne Pasquarelli, 61, and Marie Wilson, 67, surrendered to law enforcement last weekend after warrants were issued for their arrest. And I say last weekend, this was, I think, in 2016. So this, it's not new. Each woman had been charged with one count of first-degree larceny for allegedly carrying out a scheme that from 2012 to 17 robbed the cafeterias at Sachs Middle School and New Canaan High School of about $478,588 in cash. If convicted, each woman could face up to 20 years in prison.
Oh, my goodness.
That's not even the weirdest part of the story. The weirdest part is that this happened over 5 years. 5 years.
Wow.
Quote, "We are deeply upset by this alleged violation of our trust and the trust of the entire community and are committed to continuing our full cooperation with the New Canaan Police Department regarding these allegations," says School Superintendent Brian Lutzi. The alleged crimes involved a specific fund, the cafeteria, which is separate and apart from the operating budget. The school district traced irregularities related to the handling of the cash to the two, who police now believe to have been skimming from the registers. They led the food program at one middle school, and the other was an assistant food director at the high school. So this went on for 5 years, and nobody thought to notice or pay attention to $500,000 missing out of the cafeteria budget. They just looked at the receipts and went, "Oh, okay, I guess that's good. That's fine."
There's a little miss. You know what? That's probably. We probably did something with that.
It's fine,
It's fine.
So, yeah, I mean, if they're letting the lunch ladies get away with that kind of accounting, Lord knows how they're letting the kids do in math.
I don't know why it's more like the most amusing to me because they're in their like late 60s.
I'm guessing this was just their 401k wasn't doing well.
I guess.
Maybe they lost a little in the stocks, and so they said, "You know what?
Let's steal from the kids.
We're gonna take the money right now, Doris." Joanne, you got the register?
I got it.
And then Marie was like, oh, I got the register receipts over here. Now we're good to go now, okay? And it was just...
Goodness. I'm glad that we both had the same old lady voice.
Well, there really is only one voice lunch ladies have.
That's fair.
And I think they get that in training. What's more, police say there was another convincing piece of evidence besides the missing $500,000. After the two left their jobs, the average daily deposits from the cafeterias leapt considerably, despite school enrollment remaining steady.
Wow.
Huh. At the middle school, for instance, the average daily intake hovered around $33, but so far this year the average is around $184. Huh.
That's odd.
Isn't that weird? Oh, so they're also saying now they're doing further investigations because they're saying that the thefts of these two may actually be going back as far as 15 years, but the police can only investigate back 5 years for some reason. I don't know why.
Wow.
It just makes... You know what? You go to school, you get that sad little patty on a sad little steamed wet bun with the, quote-unquote cheese that's adhered to it. And, these women are walking out of there with $500,000. It's obviously there was a little money that the school clearly wasn't missing. If they could look at the budget, say, okay, $500,000 we don't have. Obviously they don't need that kind of money, so now that they're getting it back, you'd think they could take that money and actually put it into the lunch program and get some,
get decent food.
Get some decent food. Oh, my.
Message to all of the schools out there. Get some decent food.
Get some decent food.
I mean, we have pretty decent food, but we're a college, so.
Yeah, and it's all outside vendors, though, too.
Yeah.
It's like, I think one of the cafeteria down there, it's like Sbarro or something.
Something like that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I do not know if it's Sbarro's. I'm just saying that. Oh, let's see.
Well, that was
that was dramatic. That was nice because, I got to press the button right.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
In Paris, authorities are taking an unusual approach to combat the scourge of public urination. Make urination even more public. The device is called the uritoire, which combines the words for... I'm totally mispronouncing that. Uritoire, which combines the words for urinal and pavement. They're not at all subtle. They are bright red, heavily trafficked areas. They have these urinals that the city is putting out in these historic districts because they're tired of people just finding a wall or a gutter.
Oh my goodness.
Next to the Seine River and the Notre Dame Cathedral are two notable locations. If there's any confusion as to what they are, a large red and white sign with a red arrow and a cartoon of a man peeing clears it right up.
Oh my goodness.
French authorities say they're using this surprising solution to try supplementing existing toilets in the heavily congested areas where there are urine issues. The interest of the new urban fixture lies in its mobility, ease of installation and use, as well as its ecological dimension, says city authorities in a statement. They put 3 of these toilets up in March and added a 4th in July, and they're planning a 5th one soon. So, look for a new location. New additions have appalled some residents, who, such as Paola Pellizzari, who owns a Venetian art store. There's no need to put up something so immodest and ugly in such a historic spot, she tells Reuters.
Nice accent.
Oh, thank you. It's terrible. Some view the urinals as straightforwardly sexist. Quote, they have been installed on a sexist proposition. Men cannot control themselves from the bladder point of view, and so all of society has to adapt, says Gwendoline Quapeau of the feminist group Femmes Solidaires. The public space must be transformed to cause them minimum discomfort. Men pee into the receptacle, which is filled with straw and other composting material to keep odors down. The material eventually becomes compost that can be used to fertilize plants. And on top of the urinal is a small flower garden to, quote, beautify your public spaces. So
Wow.
Would you say this was gilding the lily? A little golden shower action going on. They got some flowers up on top of that thing.
Gilding the lily.
The designer of the toilet tells newspapers that the device isn't a complete fix to the problem, but he says people may just laugh at our solution, but it could just work. Brandon, we're doing a show in here.
Hi.
You want to join us? Sure. We've only got a few more minutes left, but yeah, feel free to roll on up.
Roll on up.
Yeah. So yeah, did you catch any of that one? We were. Oh, long story short, France basically put up some lovely red and white portable toilets in public so people would apparently stop peeing on walls near Notre Dame.
Oh, so like...
Hang on, let me see. I don't have any of this back yet.
You're fine.
Okay, now
there
you
go.
Speak
You're
now.
Okay. Hi.
You're here now.
He's in my head.
So they paint them like really apparent colors,
bright,
so like
bright red and white with flowers on top. They actually got like a little flower bed on top, and there is a little icon on the side of it that has a picture of a man peeing.
Yeah, a little cartoon.
just in case it wasn't subtle enough.
You didn't know.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Have they had any like results? Have they seen any results?
Well, the creator says that it's been wildly successful, but I mean, you can't really.
Yeah.
They've got 4 out so far, and they're planning on installing a 5th soon. So I'm guessing there's franchise options available.
Oh boy,
you too could have your name on this pissoir.
I was gonna say, tell me it's called pissoir.
No, I wish it were. I can't even.
That is such a good name.
I practiced the word so many times, and I can't really get it out. It's your retrottoir. I don't know. It's like the 3rd paragraph there on that story. It's I can't get it out.
No, you're right. Your retrottoir.
Yeah, you sound better when you say it.
Brandon sounds better than everyone when he says anything.
That's true.
Stop it, guys.
Just stop it.
Stop
True soldiers never die. They just fade away.
We are experiencing the end of an era here.
Oh,
I'm so sad.
No.
The man with the world's longest fingernails has
Tell
finally
me he
cut them off.
Oh, no.
After 66 years.
66 years of not cutting
66
hair.
years.
And
How
that's
did
the
he
guy
even
that like
Yes.
the
wrapping
curl.
all.
Yeah.
It was just on his left hand. It was just his one hand.
okay.
Oh yeah, it was. I remember this.
Yeah, and it looked sort of like a claw at that point. He'd had it in the position for so
I was gonna
long.
say, how is he gonna? How does a man eat?
Other hand, apparently.
Yeah,
I'm guessing he has just a very understanding
one
wife.
hand for
very
doing,
accommodating wife.
You know, you got one other hand, a free hand for eating and drinking and doing other things.
I suppose. Yeah, you're right.
Sridhar Chilal of Pune, India, had started to let the fingernails on his left hand grow when he was 14 after being told off by a teacher for accidentally breaking his long nail, says Guinness World Book of Records. What kind of bitter bastard do you have to be
That's some
to have a
heady
teacher
stuff
in high
right
school
there.
say, don't break your nail, to then devote the next 66 years of your life to proving her wrong?
That is
just
like
giving her the finger.
You can't keep me down.
That is the most
That's
petty
hilarious.
I have ever heard in my life.
He's now 82 and holds the record for the longest fingernails on a single hand. He flew to the U.S. and had his nails cut off using a small circular saw at a ceremony in New York.
A small circular saw.
Tell me there was a turnout for this ceremony. Tell me the guest list for the cutting ceremony of the longest fingernails.
I can't imagine. You know what? I can't imagine. It doesn't say anything about the actual turnout, but you have to picture it was just a sea of the Addams family.
I just want it, but I don't even want. I wanted it to be like Rihanna and like big name A-list stars showing up like
for
the Met
ceremony.
Gala, and they're like in all these like really fancy clothes.
No,
and
you're
stuff.
gonna get Gallagher. You're gonna get Gallagher.
I can see a couple like college like memesters though.
Oh
you know?
yeah, totally.
Like
Logan
dude,
Paul would be there.
I can see that as well. Just like, dude, this guy's cutting his fingernails.
Well, it doesn't. You know what?
Let's get a beer and go see it.
It's a once in a lifetime event. You know,
Honestly,
I mean,
though.
Maybe.
Because he doesn't have 66 more years to do it again. So.
Well, it was 6.5 feet long, so his fingernails were longer than he was tall.
How do you do you have to carry them around or like?
I saw a story on this guy years ago, and he actually had like this big velvet sack. It was like a trash bag that he would
velvet sack.
Yeah, that he and like his wife would take very good care to pull up over his wrist, and then there's a little tie around his wrist, so he'd basically just carry it around protectively. And there was like this daily antifungal routine that would take an hour. They had to get like peroxide and cotton swabs and just go over the underside of his nails to make sure they weren't rotting away. I mean, this guy went to a lot of care. So yeah, 6.5 feet long. I find this next statement completely BS.
Okay.
His unusual choice to grow out his nails didn't stop him from leading a normal life. I mean, he's married, he's got 2 kids, and he worked professionally as a photographer, but
I guess
can't.
you still have to take an hour out of your
Hold
day
on.
to clean your nails.
Time out. The man worked professionally as a photographer.
That's what it says.
Huh.
Yeah.
How could anybody focus on a picture where the man that's saying "say cheese"?
I'm
has
guessing every single picture he ever took of anybody was with their eyes just the size of saucers, staring slightly to his left.
Well, he didn't necessarily have to do like portrait
Say, "Wow, your
photography.
fingernails are
Oh
long."
my goodness. No, he probably did like like still life shots and like nature stuff or something. I don't
Well, he
know.
probably couldn't get any animal shots because they'd probably hear like of his nails dragging behind him on the ground. But you imagine he's going to he's like at a party. He's like, okay, now everybody say "ah" when he holds his hand up, and they just shriek.
Oh, man.
Let's see. The decision to grow his nails so long did take a toll. He cannot open his left hand from a closed position or flex his fingers. So you know what? That's a life well lived.
So
He
wait, is
can't-
that like
wait, hold
permanent
on.
now though? Like
Yeah,
now
oh,
that
yeah.
he cut his nails, he can't.
No, his hand. He's been unable. His hand is basically just frozen. It's fused.
That's
he
so
can't flex his
bad.
fingers. The muscles are locked.
They're just,
Redefine what he can't do. He can't.
So okay, just like take your hand and just kind of hold it up and let it drape
Let it
down.
down.
So
Okay.
you're just letting your hand hang down.
So it's like weighed down from.
It's
these...
weighed down. So if you just kind of
Okay.
close your fingers into a position like you were
like a
reaching
like
into a box or something like.
Okay,
like,
for sure.
Okay, say your hand is in the position like you're going to go through a can of Pringles.
Oh
okay,
my
okay, okay.
goodness!
That's
I
what
like
his
how
hand-
that's something that like everyone
Yeah, well, that's
can
a pretty
imagine.
universal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically what his hand looks like. It's in kind of that hook position, and he cannot move his fingers.
And he's how old?
He's now 82.
Okay. I was gonna say you could probably go through like a lot of physical therapy, but at that
But-
point, might as well just not.
Yeah.
Well, I have a fear that he had his nails cut off because it was time to plan his will, and he was
Tell me he
probably-
is not giving his nails to
Ew.
somebody
Oh no!
as part of his will. Tell me
Ugh.
that.
Well, he
Oh,
oh
Justin, no.
no! Oh no!
it's they're being displayed right now in the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in Times Square.
Oh no!
Come on with this.
So what they're going to have next is so right now they've got in glass case number 1 with probably 2 security guards standing there to make sure nobody gets too close. Probably the next exhibit will be the world's largest bag of fingernail clippings, because that's what's going to be the next person. Maybe his wife has been saving hers all these years.
I mean,
Wow.
and you have to think, Justin has to be right. There has to be 2 people sitting there as guards who grew up thinking that they were going to be something in life, and instead they are guarding the remnants of the world's longest fingernails.
They are being
From
paid to
harm.
stand there to guard somebody's cast-offs,
Oh.
somebody's effluvia.
My God.
They're guarding the thing that
so
somebody
gross.
didn't want anymore.
Like that's just.
No.
And I'm going to go on a limb here and say
Please.
there are probably some Chinese medicine practitioners back there in the mainland who are drooling to get their hands on this, to grind it up into some kind of powder.
Ooh, I didn't want to think about that.
You're probably right.
What is it? What does they have? The long life noodle for your birthday? So I can't imagine what they'd want to do with 30 feet of fingernail.
Oh no!
Oh, man. Oh, gosh.
Oh,
That is unbelievable.
let's see. A 54-year-old man who jumped out of a freezer and threatened employees with a knife at a New York City brunch spot and then died was a
Oh.
suspected cold case killer who had just been released from jail in Boston, authorities said. Authorities identified the man in the bizarre case as Carlton Henderson, who was found in the freezer at Sarah Beth's restaurant in Upper West Side around 11 a.m. on a Sunday, about 3 hours after it opened for the day.
Did he trap himself in the freezer?
He put himself, he didn't trap it, he hid in the freezer.
Oh.
He hid in the freezer.
Wow.
Froze to death?
Oh, no. No.
We
it's
haven't
better.
gotten to the good
Oh, we haven't
part.
gotten to the good part.
Okay, I
Th-
need to
this is-
stop guessing.
Henderson shouted, "Away from me, Satan!" and then rushed out of the freezer, police said. He then grabbed a knife and attacked employees who were able to disarm him. He then went into cardiac arrest and died. Police arrested Henderson in St. Louis, Missouri in June 2017 after bullets from a Boston killing were matched to a gun recovered in a fatal shooting in Miami from '93. He was indicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder for his alleged role in the 88 homicides of William Medina and Antonio Doré.
Names.
Names. They stumped me.
Oh, man, I miss this.
Both victims were in their 20s, and he would have been slightly older at the time, the murderer. The case has been cold for decades, but was reopened by a cold case in Boston, and the indictment followed. Henderson was released on his own recognizance 4 days before the freezer attack from prison. It wasn't clear what his connection was to the restaurant, why he was in the freezer, or for how long. No employees were hurt in the incident.
That makes it even better.
Isn't that weird?
He didn't hurt anyone. He
My
just
good holy
died.
God.
He just leapt out of the freezer, shouted, "Away from me, Satan!" grabbed a knife, and just went at the employees. And they basically just...
And then just dropped dead.
I'm guessing they just put their hand on his face and held him back while he was going, come on, get over here. And then he died.
Stabby.
And then he fell over dead.
That's just... Imagine being one of those employees and just witnessing someone, like, in a matter of minutes trying to murder you and then just dropping dead.
Or just like, yep, it's Tuesday. Just like, oh, Jerry's here. Just like shoots out of the freezer.
Jerry's here!
They're like training somebody. They're like, it's just this guy running out of their freezer.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
like, yeah, that happens.
Well, this was on the
normal.
Upper West Side of New York. I don't know enough about New York. Is that the good part or the bad part?
I have no idea.
I don't know New York. I'm sorry.
Okay, I thought
Yeah.
I thought somebody else might.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh my God! So
that is hilarious.
Oh,
Hey kids, you know what's new? Play-Doh's got the toy for you for playtime fun.
Oh no!
I'm scared what's coming.
the company says it has persuaded the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to take the rare step of trademarking their smell of Play-Doh.
Hooray!
Hasbro formally describes the trademark scent as a unique odor formed through the combination of a sweet, slightly
like that
musky, vanilla-like fragrance
Unique
with
odor.
slight overtones of cherry and a natural smell of salt wheat-based dough. Cherry?
I
Have you
mean,
ever smelled
I've
cherry?
never smelled cherry in
Of
Play-Doh.
course I've never smelled cherry because it's not there. They're
It's
just
just
saying
Play-Doh.
that. It is Play-Doh.
I mean, it smells like they're
It
trying to
does
describe a
smell
nice
salty.
Zinfandel or something.
They're like swirling it around in a little plastic yellow container.
Take a little sip.
Yeah, they've got...
I'm
Take a
getting
little
watermelon notes.
Well, they've probably got like a shot glass there, and they've got some Play-Doh in it, and they're passing it out. It's on a little napkin, and somebody picks it up and kind of wafts it under their nose, and then you just kind of hear the... they kind of lick it a little bit, roll it around,
Oh my
touch it to
goodness.
see, test for the clients.
Gosh, Justin.
Fragrance company Demeter has actually has actually released a Play-Doh perfume described as that fresh, just out of the can Eau de Play-Doh aroma as part of a year-long celebration of the beloved modeling compound's 50th birthday. The 1-ounce spray bottle of fragrance is meant for highly creative people who seek a whimsical scent reminiscent of their childhood.
Oh my god.
I love how they say stuff like that sometimes. Like, it's meant for this. Like,
Right?
if you're not highly creative, don't touch our Play-Doh scent.
There is a yeah, exactly. It's because it's so
it's meant for the art.
it's so unique. And there was a quote I read in a Dilbert comic a long time ago that just applies so often. There's a fine line between marketing and grand theft. And I just find that get out your phones. What the hell's wrong with the two of you?
Well, I'm a guest.
Pay attention to me.
Messaging me about
I'm listening to you.
No, you put the headphones on. You're working now.
I'm listening to you.
the radio station. Okay, I'm sorry.
What?
I can't say that,
Oh.
but I was listening.
Okay.
I was listening,
I
and
was
there is
also
a
listening.
fine line between robbery and marketing.
And okay, so I have one main question about this.
You thought I
So-
wasn't listening.
Well, you misquoted it, so I'm guessing you're only half listening. But I have questions here. So
Same.
I get the kind of weird kind of Zooey Deschanel oddity of wanting to go around smelling like a can of Play-Doh. But has nobody really thought about the actual hazards involved? Because what if you were to walk
With
by
getting a Play-Doh scent?
Yeah. What if you were to walk by
Like a
a
kindergarten.
kindergarten office? Exactly.
Oh.
You're going to have 30 hungry little 5-year-olds coming at you.
Hungry?
Tell me you're not appetized by the smell of Play-Doh right now, and I will not believe you.
Well, no. I mean, you gotta spread it out a little bit. You gotta toast it. Maybe put a little butter on it.
Yeah. Make a whole day out of it.
I don't know if I'd say I'm appetized by it, but like it makes my mouth water a little bit.
Because it's one of those throwback. It's one of those throwback memories.
Yeah, and it's nostalgic.
We're definitely in a nostalgia era. We're definitely in an era of bringing things back, nostalgia, because
Member
we
berries?
don't have original content.
No. Well, I mean, heck, the show isn't original. I'm reading off other people's news stories, for God's sake.
Yeah, but that's an original idea.
No, it's not. I absolutely do not claim this is any kind of original content whatsoever. Okay, let's see. I think we got time.
But I do understand the whole like wanting to capitalize on the scent of Play-Doh, because of course, like, you play with Play-Doh and it smelled like,
well, yeah.
It was when Mom popped open the cap, it was.
Are you saying Mom popped the cap? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Let's see.
Quote me.
I think we got time for one more here.
Please.
I thought this one was a nice ending, except I've lost my place here.
I don't like that sound in my ear.
A restaurant called Cuyamaca, located in the city of Chengdu, China, was forced to close its doors after just 2 weeks of a new promotion because the customers simply ate too much, says the South China Morning Post.
Get out of here. You're telling me that a restaurant had a promotion and they had to close as a restaurant
2 weeks later, yes.
2 weeks later because they were eating too much of their food?
That's...
Please continue.
Oh, yes.
I need more.
Context. I need context. The restaurant released a $25 all-you-can-eat deal, which proved to be widely popular and for good reason. The flat fee meant customers would receive a membership card that entitled them to eat unlimited food for the month. And patrons reportedly shared the card with their friends and family.
That makes sense.
The volume of meal be consumed on a single purchase was just too much for the restaurant to handle. At the height of the promotion, they were receiving in excess of 500 customers a day, which translated into long lines forming before the restaurant even opened and lasting well past the time it was supposed to close. The Hot Pot Eatery, which had been open since December of 2017, is now more than $100,000 in debt.
Yeah, they really didn't think about that one.
Co-owner Su Jie explained part of the restaurant's failure. Quote, "The uncivilized behavior of the diners was secondary. The main problem was our poor management." In tweets that have been translated by local outlets, social media users chastised the owners for thinking such a promotion was a good idea. "You would not dare to play this kind of thinking in China," wrote one user. Another added, "Never underestimate our Chinese appetite."
Wow.
You're telling me that somebody from the restaurant had to...
Stop! I hate that.
Where did you find that sound clip?
That's actually Nibbler from Futurama.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Again, stealing other people's material. I got nothing.
That was my life.
I couldn't believe that. I thought that was so
You're telling
darn
me
funny.
that somebody from the restaurant had to tell people what the problem was? I didn't work at the restaurant. I could tell you what the problem was. It was a stupid idea. It was stupid.
I mean,
$25 for a whole month of
for a
all
whole
you
month
can
of
eat
buffet
food?
eating.
That's so...
You don't have to be a genius to know that that's a dumb idea.
Right?
I mean, if you go to the restaurant, let's just say average, like, I don't know, hometown buffet pricing. It's like what, $10 to get in, $12 for one person.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah,
about
and then like I was at a Chinese buffet the other night that was like $16.
Yeah.
For one night.
And I mean, you got to think a lot of it's probably seafood too, which is I don't know
More
how.
expensive.
It definitely here. I don't know what it is, in China, but you go there 2 times and you're basically you've gotten the value of your money.
Yeah.
You think these people are like, I've just paid $25 for groceries for the entire month for my family and everybody I know.
Yeah.
They're going to take advantage of that.
100%. And they don't have to cook any of it.
Nope, they just
not
sit
just
down.
groceries, but they don't have to cook anything.
Now, if I don't know how the restaurant was set up, but I've been to a hot pot restaurant in Kearney Mesa, and you don't even have to get your butt out of the chair. They just wheel it around to you in those little steamer trays.
You just like plop it in.
Well, I've been to a couple Chinese buffets. I've been to that one, but I've been to one that's kind of like hometown buffet style, where you
Super China buffet in La Mesa.
Yeah, I think so.
With their peanut butter chicken and pizza.
I mean, $16 is about the price that I would pay because again, it's all you can eat Chinese food. It's not going to be like 5-star, like Michelin-starred Chinese food, but it's all you can eat.
Yeah.
Chinese
No, when
food.
you hear the word buffet, you don't exactly think fine dining with candles and linen tablecloths.
Exactly.
Yep.
You think crayons and French fries on the floor.
It's enough to pass and fill your stomach.
Exactly. More than enough to fill your stomach.
And just hope to God that it hasn't been sitting out in that hot tray for long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break here. Thank you so much for joining us, Brandon.
Of course.
Yeah,
Good to see
thanks,
you
I always
again.
love being on
Brandon.
here.
You've been listening to Grossmont Radio. I'm DJ Summit.
I'm DJ Supremus.
I'm DJ B Million.
And this is Bob Marley with Rebels Hop.